Welcome to NFL Nexus. In a city like New Orleans, some guys are more than just players. They become part of the city's fabric. And for the Saints, that player is, without a doubt, Demario Davis. But in a pretty shocking turn of events, the future of this absolute icon is suddenly up in the air. So today, we're going to break down the cryptic comments, the cold business side of things, and the one question no Saints fan ever wanted to even think about. Could Demario Davis really leave New Orleans? If this is the kind of deep dive you're into, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and like this explainer. It really just helps us out a ton.
And it all kicked off with this. This one tweet sent absolute shockwaves through the Saints fan base. I'm kind of speechless. That's from Kay Adams, host of the Up and Adams show, and she posted it just moments after her interview with Demario Davis wrapped up. Now, just think about that for a second. When a host who talks to the biggest names in the NFL for a living, someone who is literally never at a loss for words, is left speechless, you know something huge just happened. That tweet completely blew up, turning what should have been a routine offseason chat into a major news story, and it raised the stakes for one of the most respected players in the entire league.
And really, that's the million-dollar question we're digging into, isn't it? Demario Davis is the New Orleans Saints defense. And I'm not exaggerating. He's the leader, the emotional core, the general on the field. I mean, he's everything. For 8 loyal seasons, through all the ups and downs, he's been the one constant you could count on. So why now? After all this time, after his name has become synonymous with the black and gold, is his future with the team suddenly a giant question mark? Okay, let's get into it.
To really get why this is such a massive deal, why the idea of him leaving is so earth-shattering, we first have to establish just how incredibly valuable Demario Davis is. We're not talking about just any player here. We're talking about the foundational pillar of that Saints defense for the better part of a decade. Him potentially walking away isn't just about losing a linebacker, it's about the risk of the whole defensive culture he helped build starting to crumble. Before we can understand the potential breakup, we have to appreciate the marriage. Just let that number sink in for a second. 8 seasons. In today's NFL, with the salary cap and players moving all the time, 8 years with one team is practically an eternity, especially for a guy who wasn't even drafted by them. For almost a decade, he's been the cornerstone, the undisputed vocal leader of that Saints defense. He's seen all-pro teammates and legendary coaches come and go, but through it all, Demario Davis has been the constant. He's the standard. And let's be crystal clear about this. We're not just talking about some local fan favorite who's only loved in New Orleans. Nope. Across the league. Ask the coaches, the scouts, the GMs, the other players, Demario Davis is recognized as truly elite. His name is always, and I mean always, in the conversation when you're talking about the best inside linebackers in the game, right up there with guys like Fred Warner and Roquan Smith. But his real calling card, the thing that sets him apart, is his insane consistency. You know exactly what you're getting every single Sunday. A smart, hard-hitting, sideline-to-sideline machine who never ever takes a playoff. Now this number right here, this is what's truly mind-blowing. 143 total tackles. That's a new career high for Demario Davis. And what makes that so staggering is when he did it, at 37 years old. I mean, come on. At an age where most linebackers are 5 years into retirement, Davis went out and had the most productive season of his entire 12-year career. The wear and tear of playing middle linebacker is just astronomical. Yet somehow he's defying father time in a way that's almost unheard of. He isn't just playing well for his age, he's literally playing better than he ever has before. It's incredible. And his impact goes way beyond just that big tackle number. Let's really look at this stat line because every number tells a piece of the story. Played in all 17 games? That tells you he's an absolute Iron Man. Totally dependable. 6 tackles for loss? That means he's living in the other team's backfield, blowing up plays before they even get started. 3 pass defenses? That proves he's not some old-school linebacker you have to take off the field on passing downs. He can still cover. And then you get the game-changing stuff. 2 forced fumbles and a recovery. This isn't just a guy cleaning up tackles downfield. He's still a dominant, all-around defensive force, creating turnovers. It's also pretty wild to remember that his journey to becoming a Saints legend wasn't a straight line at all. As you can see here, he was a 3rd-round pick by the Jets, and for the first 6 years of his career, he was seen as a really good player, but maybe not a truly great one. He bounced from the Jets to the Browns and then got traded back to the Jets. It wasn't until 2018, when he signed with New Orleans, that he found his home and just exploded into the perennial all-pro player we know today. He really had to grind for it. But, as we all know, what you do on the field is only half the battle. Now we've got to look at how the business of football is making all of this so uncertain. And this This is where the story gets complicated. Because as much as we love talking about loyalty and leadership and all the great things that happen on the field, the NFL is a business. A cold, hard business. And there are several realities that are making this a really tough and very public situation for both Demario Davis and the Saints. So we just finished praising him for playing out of his mind at 37, and he deserves every bit of it. But from a front office perspective, that same number is a giant flashing red flag. NFL teams are notoriously scared of risk. They hate investing big money and, more importantly, multiple years into players on the wrong side of 30, let alone one who's about to turn 38. No matter how well he's playing right this second, any GM is going to be thinking about the statistical cliff that could be right around the corner. And here's the thing, this isn't happening in a bubble. You have to look at the Saints themselves. They are at a huge crossroads. They've got a new coaching staff trying to put their stamp on the team. The roster is in flux. A lot of people think they're heading for or are already in a full rebuild. And that brings up a really tough question for the front office. Does it make sense to pay top dollar for a 37-year-old leader, even one as great as Davis, if you're rebuilding for the long haul? Or is that money better spent on younger guys? And for the first time in a long time, his contract is up, which forces them to make that call. And look, this isn't the first time these two sides have had to talk money. This timeline shows the history here. They brought him in back in 2018. They rewarded him with a big extension in 2020. Even just in 2024, they worked out a new deal to keep him around. In the past, whenever his contract came up, they always found a way to get it done. And that long history of getting deals done amicably is exactly what makes the current quietness in all this public drama so strange and so noteworthy. And check out this quote from earlier in the season. Knowing what we know now, this is absolutely fascinating. When he was asked about his contract back then, he was super chill about it, almost brushed it off. He basically said, yeah, it's part of the game, but I don't worry about it. It's always worked itself out here. That calm, confident attitude, the attitude of a guy who feels totally secure and valued, is a night and day difference from his recent comments. It really makes you think that something significant has changed in the last few months. Which brings us to the interview. The interview on the Up and Adams show that lit the match and started this whole firestorm. The way he chose his words, so carefully and so deliberately, completely changed the conversation around his future. It wasn't some angry rant or demand for money. It was a masterclass in how to negotiate in public. So let's break down exactly what he said, and maybe, even more importantly, what he didn't say. This right here, this is the sentence everyone is picking apart. And listen to the two very distinct parts. The first part is totally certain, totally confident. I'm coming back to the NFL. Okay, so retirement's off the table. He feels great. He's ready to go. But then you get the second part. How that plays out, we shall see. Whoa, that is intentional ambiguity. He could have so easily said, and I'm hoping it's with the Saints, or we're working on it. But he didn't. He purposefully left that door wide open. And in NFL contract speak, that is a huge blinking neon sign that says, I am ready to see what other teams have to offer. So Kay Adams, being a fantastic interviewer, hit him with the perfect follow-up. What's your priority? What are you looking for at this point in your career? Now, most guys in his spot would give you a pretty standard answer, right? Something like, I want to win a Super Bowl, or I want to get paid what I'm worth. But Davis's answer was completely different, and it kind of revealed this whole new motivation that might be driving his decision this offseason. This is so telling. He didn't talk about his own stats or new contract or getting another award. He defined his value as being a mentor, a guy who can lift up an entire young defense and help them get to the next level. He's literally watching other teams around the league and seeing defenses that are just one veteran leader away from being special. He's publicly pitching himself not just as an all-pro linebacker, but as a player coach on the field. And he's making it very clear that that specific role is what's really exciting him right now. And get this, he didn't just talk in general terms. He gave specific examples. He named names. He mentioned Alante Taylor, his own talented teammate in New Orleans, and then he brought up Kool-Aid McKinstry, a young player on a completely different team. Think about what that means. He is actively watching tape on young guys around the league, figuring out what they need to improve and thinking about the real impact his leadership could have on them. He's basically putting out a well-researched, public sales pitch to all 32 teams, not just the Saints. So, where does all of this leave us? On one side, you've got his elite, age-defying play. On the other, you've got his age and the cold reality of the NFL. You've got a Saints team that's trying to figure out its own future. And now you have his own words, signaling this powerful new motivation and a clear willingness to leave the only NFL home he's ever truly known. It all adds up to a fascinating and very uncertain future. And let's be super clear about what this term means. As an unrestricted free agent, Demario Davis holds all the cards. For the first time in almost a decade, he is not tied to the New Orleans Saints. He can pick up the phone and listen to offers from all 31 other teams. He is completely free to choose where he goes next based on whatever he values most, whether that's money, a shot at a ring, or finding that perfect spot where he can be that veteran mentor he's talking about. Ultimately, it really just boils down to this. For the Saints, the question is about their identity. Do they pay what it takes to keep their 37-year-old leader, valuing his importance to the culture, even if the team isn't ready to win a Super Bowl right now? And for the rest of the league, the question is about opportunity. Does a team that's right on the edge of contending see him as the final piece of the puzzle? Does a team with a bunch of young talent see him as the guide they desperately need to unlock their potential? For 8 years, Demario Davis has been the absolute embodiment of the New Orleans Saints defense. He's the heart, the soul, the general on the field. He sets the tone every single day. And now, for the first time, that heart and soul is officially on the open market. It's a situation that seemed impossible just a few months ago, and now the entire league is watching to see who makes the move. So, now I'm turning it over to you. What's your gut telling you? How does this all play out? Does he somehow find a way back to New Orleans to finish his career where he became a legend? Or is he going to take on a new challenge and become that mentor for another team? Drop your predictions and tell me why you think so in the comments below. I read all of them, and I really want to know what you guys think is going to happen. Hey, thank you so much for watching this breakdown here on NFL Nexus. If you enjoy these deep dives and want to help support the channel, a really great way to do that is by checking out our custom coloring books. They're honestly perfect for football fans of any age, for your kids, your grandkids, and yeah, even for you. You can find them using the link down in the description or by scanning the QR code on your screen right now. Thanks again for all the support, and we'll see you on the next one.